Hey guys, what's going on? It's Seth here, and in today's video I'm gonna be attempting a MURPH variation, which is gonna be consisting of 200 push-ups, 100 pull-ups, 300 squats and around 200 shoulder raises, just to add a little bit of shoulder work to it. So we'll see how that goes, so stick on guys. Alright guys, so during this workout video I just wanted to mention 10 things that I wish I knew before I started training. So the number one thing that I wish I really knew before I started training is that supplements are just supplements and food is the priority. Because when I started training, and I'm sure that many of you had that mistake as well, or maybe some of you still think it's that way, that supplements are just like miracle stuff and they are going to promote muscle gains so much more than anything else. So like let's say protein powder is gonna be much better than eating some chicken, or creatine is gonna be much more beneficial than just following a good diet, and that is just absolute BS. I have to tell you guys, like food and your diet is the absolute priority. Supplements are just there to supplement your diet, just as they say in their names. So the training and your diet is gonna be the absolute most important factors if you want to gain muscle and if you want to build an amazing body. So never make the mistake of spending all your money on supplements and then not investing into your diet and into your food. You should always make sure that your diet is perfect, that you are eating very good quality foods, that you're eating enough protein, enough carbs, enough fats, and you are eating good quality food. And if that is on point, then you can spend your money on supplements and then you can research stuff on supplements. But the first and foremost is going to be to have a good diet. The number 2 point is going to be that isolation is much more important than ego lifting. And I'm sure that some of you made this mistake as well, and but actually most of us make this mistake, and even now I make this mistake sometimes when I forget about it and then just like go on the wrong side of the things and I start ego lifting. But you should always keep in mind that the main thing when you are training is going to be to isolate the muscle, to really contract, to really feel it, to really get that good pump and really work the muscle. And it doesn't really matter what kind of weight you are using. If your goal is to build an amazing body, then the number one most important thing is to really work the muscle. And it doesn't matter what kind of weight you are using. Your body is not going to know what kind of weight you've been using. Your body only reacts to the stress. And you have to keep in mind that working with lower weight and really contracting the muscle and really feeling the muscle is going to be more beneficial, and it's going to be less risky in terms of injuries. And if we are talking about injuries, then my number 3 point is going to be that you should always learn perfect technique before you execute an exercise. And I know that most of you are not going to do this, and I did not do this either back in the days, because who wants to just go for the first couple of sessions and just learn how to do exercises? We all just want to go to the gym and lift some weights, but it is so important. I cannot stress this enough. Like, you should learn how to perform each exercise perfectly with a perfect technique. It is going to be much more beneficial for you, and also the risk for an injury is going to be much lower. So my number 3 point is that technique is always before execution. Moving on to my number 4 point, it is going to be that more is sometimes less. Like when I started training, I was so enthusiastic about training that I used to go to the gym like 6 times a week, and I've been training every muscle group like 4 times a week and all this crazy stuff. And I'm sure that so many of you guys too make that mistake, that you train arms much more than, let's say, legs, and you are overtraining this or that. But you should always keep in mind that in bodybuilding, more is sometimes less. You should just stick with 2 times a week for each muscle group, and I would definitely recommend trying the push-pull legs routine. So definitely check that out. Moving on to my number 5 point, it is going to be that meal timing is not as necessary as overall consumption. when I started training and in my first couple of years, I was really serious about training and really serious about my diet. And I was getting so stressed when I could not eat for like 4 or 5 hours. I felt like that if I miss my eating window every third hour, then I'm just going to instantly lose my muscle and lose some weight, and my progress is gonna be stagnating, and that is just absolute BS. Like, the overall consumption during the day is much more important than meal timing. Meal timing matters, but it is just a very small amount of the whole equation. So just keep in mind that overall consumption is always more important than meal timing. Number 6, and this should be actually at the number 2 or number 3 point, that calories in versus calories out is more important than what you eat. So meaning, I've been talking about this in my previous videos, so definitely check that out if you want a more in-depth explanation of this. But the main thing is that if you want to lose weight, then the main factor that you need to be looking at is that you should consume less calories than how much your body actually uses during the day. So if you are in a calorie deficit, then you are going to lose weight. If you are in a surplus, then you are going to gain weight. And it is just that simple, guys. And it doesn't really matter what you eat, actually. The main thing is that if you want to lose weight, you need to be in a deficit. If you want to gain weight, then you need to be in a surplus. And that's it. So if you want more information on this, definitely check out my previous videos. Moving on to the number 7 point, it is that copying professional bodybuilders and other people's workout routine is just not a great thing. Like, you should always test exercises and test workout programs, and that is great, but you should find something that works for you. Because just by copying a professional bodybuilder, you are not going to get that same body. And when I was younger and I started training, I felt like that I should copy these professional bodybuilders because then I can get like them too one day. And of course, they are not doing bad things. If you have no idea about training, then it's a good starting point. But later on, you should always find what works the best for you, what you enjoy, what your body can handle, because some people can do high weighted deadlifts like 3 times a week, but for example, me, my back would just break from it. So you just need to find something that works for you. Moving on to the number 8, it is going to be that training legs promotes overall growth. It's different from country to country and from gym to gym, and like some gyms people are training legs all the time, other gyms most of the people just keep it, and it matters a lot, like what kind of people you are around and how serious people you are around. But we all know that most of the people don't really like training legs, and I don't really like training legs either. And when I was younger, in the gyms where I've been training, no one used to really train legs. Like, we didn't even really had machines to train legs. Like, I mean, it's pretty crazy. But you should know that training legs will promote your overall growth and your testosterone levels and your growth hormone levels, and it's just so beneficial for your body and for your training. So even if you don't really care about how big your legs are, or if you hate training legs, but you want to build an absolutely amazing upper body, then you should still train legs, and you should still take training legs seriously, because it's going to promote your overall growth. And moving on to the number 9, it is going to be that bulking is not a necessity to build muscle. Like most of the people think, and you hear this so many times from professionals and trainers, that you need to eat big to get big. You need to eat all the food. But sometimes people who say this are hard gainers, are bodybuilders who used to be hard gainers. And for some people, this is actually true. For some people, they have to overeat, they have to force food on themselves to be able to gain weight or to build muscle. But for you, this might not be a necessity. For some people, if you eat too much, then you are just going to get fat. And if you want to build muscle, you don't need to get fat. Fat is not going to turn into muscle, and just by going into a crazy surplus, you are not going to gain more muscle. You are just going to gain more fat. And then when you want to lose that fat, so that to make sure that you look good in the summertime, let's say, then you are just going to lose all the muscle that you've been building, because I mean, it just doesn't make sense, guys. So don't make the mistake of bulking. If you want to gain muscle, then just go into a small surplus, let's say 200 to 300 calories surplus, and make sure that your macronutrients are perfect. You are eating enough proteins, enough calories, and that's it. You don't need to go crazy. You don't need to go crazy at all. In the beginning, you can even gain muscle in a deficit, but that's for another time, because that's gonna be a much longer talk. So these are my main points that I wish I knew before I started training, guys. I hope that some of this is going to help you, and I hope that some of you can relate to this and you can find something useful here. And now let's jump back into the video, and I will tell you guys what I thought about my first MURPH workout. Alright guys, so I'm finished with the workout. I just came for a quick walk in this beautiful park, just to cool off, because my heart rate was so high. I just felt like I can't really stop. I couldn't really drink. I mean, I love this workout because I love this workout because it is just so challenging. Like, your heart rate goes so high that you can't even really breathe. You can't even really drink. It's like you are just kind of fighting for your life, and it's so good to face with challenges like that and kind of overcome them. And I think that it's one of the most satisfying feelings when you can do a workout that challenges you and pushes you way over your comfort zone, but you don't really give up. You don't just stop. You don't just go for something easier, but you push through it. You overcome it, and you take on the challenge, and you complete the challenge. And it's just such a satisfying feeling, and it is what's gonna really push your progress. It's gonna push you forward so much, and it is so satisfying and so enjoyable and just so rewarding. So I definitely recommend you guys to try something like the MURPH. Don't really start with this if you are not that fit, because this is one of the hardest exercises that I've ever done in my years. But I definitely recommend to try some kind of CrossFit workout and just challenge yourselves in this time. Like, we are all back at home most of the times, and we are just chilling, watching TV, eating snacks, and it is very easy to lose your discipline in this time and to get kind of weak and lazy, but don't do that, guys. Try to challenge yourself with something every single day, and not just to build your discipline, but to really just feel good about yourself. And it is always good to do something new, to challenge yourself for something new. So I definitely recommend everybody to try something like this. I mean, this MURPH, especially with the extra shoulder raises, is definitely was a challenge. But I'm happy that I'm finished with it, and I'm gonna go and cook something nice. So I will see you guys later.